Welcome to Wrong Time Watch. My name is Kevin, and today we're looking at the Seiko SARB035 and the two Islanders here. This is the ISL 85 and this is the ISL 38, but it doesn't look like this anymore. Now it has a smooth bezel and the date is down here at 6 o'clock. So a little bit of changes on these watches, but comparison is still pretty much the same here. I've heard these watches, or I've seen these watches referred to as the SARBlander, combination of SARB and Islander. Kind of funny, reminds me of Salamander, but anyway. Just a quick look at these two watches here, since the case shape is heavily borrowed, if not an exact copy of the Seiko SARB case. So it looks like it's, I don't know. Let's say it almost looks a little bit different, but maybe it's almost exactly the same. I'll let you guys be the judge of that. So let's put these face to face and try and hold them close here. The case looks very, very similar. Okay, let's talk about the SARB035 first. Price for these have been discontinued for a couple years, a few years now. These are about $500 on the secondary or the used market. And these Islanders are $350 from Island Watch. Long Island Watch, whichever one. So check them out. So they both have flat sapphire crystals. They have applied indices. This one has anti-reflective coating applied to it, and I don't believe the Seiko does. Kind of hard to tell, but looks like it does not. I see more glare on there than I do on the Islander. So the Seiko, of course, has Lume Bright. The Islander, I'm not sure which lume is applied. It doesn't say online. The Seiko has a push-pull crown. So first position is hand winding. Second position would be date set. I'm not going to do it in the 10-10 position. Then all the way out is hacking, and you can move the hands. Both of the Islanders here have screw down crowns, and they're rated for 100 meter water resistance. So first pop out, you're in hand winding. Next one, you're in date set, so second hand still moving. Then all the way out will be, all the way out is changing the time, and the second hand has stopped. So these are hacking as well. So screw the crown back down. And let's see, we'll talk about the movements next here. But again, both of these are rated to 100 meters water resistance. But this one does not have a screw down crown. I prefer not to have a screw down crown, especially if they're still going to be rated to 100 meters water resistance. Let's look at the crown side. So you can see they both have signed crowns. I don't really care for the Islander logo, the Long Island Watch logo. But the S, I don't know if that's any better. I don't really don't care if it has a signed crown or not, unless it has a design that is like a logo that doesn't matter the orientation. Then I'm okay with it. You know, like a circle, just a circle by itself would be fine. But then you have that little triangle on there. I guess this one's not too bad for that. But the Seiko S, you know, maybe you could put it like that, so straight up and down. So anyway, Seiko has the 6R15 movement in it, which is hand winding, hacking, 50 hours power reserve, and the second hand ticks at 6 beats per second on this one. It is nicely decorated. There's some good decoration there. I like the rotor. So I always like seeing a decorated movement, or I always like seeing a mechanical movement, even if it's not decorated. Like this, for example, for our 36. There's really no decoration there to speak of, but I still like the way it looks. And then in the SARBlanders, we have the Miyota 9015, one of my favorite movements, the Miyota 9000 series. I think it's a good value, good enough accuracy, good enough power reserve. And with this, you get the high beat, so 8 beats per second. And you can see it is decorated as well. So let's hold these side by side, and if you'll take a moment to look at the second hands, maybe you can see the difference in the sweep, the smoothness of the sweep. So as I mentioned, the Seiko does have applied indices. It has an applied logo as well. So the polished hands look black at certain angles, and then when you get the light hit, you can see the silver pop on there. So nice finishing on this watch. It's a nice off-white dial, and then the date window is, the date wheel is white. I guess I can kind of notice it now that I know it's different. Looking at it from arm's length distance, perhaps. Yeah. Sorry, it might have been off camera, but not a big deal. It's color matched enough for me. Let's go to this one since it has a date window as well. So this date window is not boxed in. If a watch does have a date, I prefer it to be boxed in. My preference is no date, but if it does have a date, I'd like to have a boxed in date window. So this does have an applied logo as well, applied indices. These indices have Lume on them. The Seiko does not have Lume on the indices, but there is a little bit of a Lume pip just forward of the indices. I'll show you that in a moment here. So this handset's not as easy to see on the dark dial, but you can see the Lume on the hands, so that works very well. So let's see if we can see the Lume on here. It's kind of, I didn't notice it at first when I did the previous video with this watch, but there is Lume there. At first I thought it was just the slope of the indices, but they're actual Lume pips. So there you go. And this watch is made in Japan. Come on. There you go. Japan SARB035. Pretty sure the watch is made in Japan. I think it says it on the back here. Right there. Made in Japan. Right there. So the Miyota 9015 movement is also hand winding, hacking. Only has 40 hours of power reserve, but then you do get the smoother second hand, so it's up to you if you want the greater power reserve or if you want the smoother sweep of the second hand. Okay, let's talk about the dimensions now. The Seiko lug to lug I measured at 44.6. Diameter, perfect size for my wrist, 38 millimeter. Thickness is fairly thin, 11.6 millimeter. It could be thinner, but 11.6 to the flat sapphire on the top, and then I believe this middle crystal on the back. I don't really know. Doesn't matter. So 11.6 thick, 20 millimeter lug width, and it does taper down to 18. I do have solid end links, solid links, pin and collar for sizing. No half links for this bracelet, and only 2 micro adjusts. So getting the perfect fit, not going to be, most likely not going to be possible with this watch. So you have to wear it a little bit loose. All right, back to the Islander. So this does have positive end links, and the SARB has negative end links. So the lug to lug of the case is a true lug to lug on your wrist while on bracelet. And this bracelet here, from this point to this point of the positive end links, looking at 48.1 millimeter. Lug to lug on the case, 44.5. Diameter is 38. And the thickness on this is nice and thin at 10.4 millimeter. That's the other advantage of the Miyota 9000 series over the Seiko movements, is they're thinner. So 10.4 thickness from the sapphire, flat sapphire crystal to the display back here. 20 millimeter lug width, and it does taper down nicely to 16. So these watches wear very nicely on wrist. I really appreciate bracelet tapers nowadays. Dual pushers and the safety clasp. I would really like them not to have the safety clasp and just have a clasp with the dual pushers. That's totally fine. Don't really need the safety clasp. So that would be more similar to what the Seiko has. Both of these watches do have the same size crown at 6.4 millimeter. And this watch is not sized for my wrist, so it weighs in at 133 grams. This one is sized for my wrist, 117 grams. So I don't know if 2 extra links would make up for that weight difference or not. But that's what I have. So they both have polished bezels. They both have the step to the case, brushed on top, polished on the sides. And you have this nice step to the case here. Get some added visual interest. Neat looking feature. I've not seen it really on any other watches except for these two. And this one is essentially a homage of the SARB 033 and 035. But then it looks kind of like Oyster Perpetual as well. So a mixture of different other watches. Okay, let me get both these on wrist, and then we'll check out the Lume, and then we'll close out the video. If you have not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it, and it helps me out as well. So I have a 6.5 inch wrist, and I think these are a perfect size for a 6.5 inch wrist, 52 millimeter wristband. I'm also curious what your opinion is on a bracelet taper, if you require that or if it doesn't really matter to you. I really like it. Let's get the SARB on wrist. You know what, let me put the, we'll do the SARB and then we'll go back to the other Islander. Put the other Islander on wrist, which has the 5-link bracelet. This one and the previous Islander I had on wrist both have the 3-link bracelet here. This does have a nice chamfered edges too, as well. I should have bought a black dial SARB 033 back in the day, but I didn't. Oh well. Okay, let's go to this other Islander, and then we'll check out the Lume. I think I'll just use one Islander for the Lume comparison. The bezel seems a little bit too thick on this with the fluted bezel. All right, let's check out the Lume next. So on the left we have the ISL38, and on the right we have the Seiko SARB035. As far as the Lume, I would say the hands on both of them have the same amount of Lume, but then the Lume pips on the SARB are so much smaller, so it's really not a fair comparison in that regard. So if Lume is a priority for you, I would go with the Islander over the Seiko. That will conclude this video. As always, thank you for your time and thank you for watching.